On the night of my best friend Sophie Dubois' 22nd birthday, something happened that changed my life forever. We were out celebrating when a drunk man started harassing her. As a black belt in Taekwondo, I stepped in to protect her. I didn't mean to go too far, but in the chaos, I accidentally killed him. I thought Sophie would have my back. After all, I was protecting her, but when we went to court, she refused to testify. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison for manslaughter. And when I finally got out, I was hit with a second betrayal. Sophie had married my boyfriend, Alexander Wright, and they had a daughter who was over 2 years old. They even tried to marry me off to Sophie's older brother, who was divorced and known to be abusive. But then, in the blink of an eye, everything changed. One moment I was driving, dazed and overwhelmed, and then bam, a car accident. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in my bedroom. I picked up my phone and stared at the screen. The date showed it was Sophie's 22nd birthday again 3 years ago. Somehow, I had gone back in time. I looked at myself in the mirror. The outfit I had picked out for her party was already on. This was the day everything started to fall apart. There were 2 messages waiting on my phone. From Sophie, sent the location of the restaurant and a voice message in her usual sugary tone. "Sweetie, here's the place I booked. Don't get lost, okay?" The other message was from my boyfriend Alexander Wright. "Elena, are you ready?" "I'm almost downstairs." I rolled my eyes. In my past life, I thought they barely knew each other at this point. I had even used Alexander's name to buy Sophie an expensive necklace to help them get along. I wanted the 2 most important people in my life to be friends. But 3 years later, I found out she had been pregnant with his child at this very moment. Holding back a surge of rage, I texted Sophie, "Hey babe, I just twisted my ankle. I'm heading to City General Hospital, so I might miss your party. I'll make it up to you later, I promise." My family was better off financially than hers, and over the years, she had taken advantage of that more than once. On the surface, she was sweet and obedient, but now I knew better. Her concerned voice messages flooded in, but I didn't open them. I couldn't stand to hear that fake sweetness. I texted Alexander too, not feeling great. "You go ahead without me." Before he could respond, I muted his notifications and tossed the phone aside. Then I turned to the bed and looked at the gifts I had prepared. The necklace I bought in Alexander's name, the designer bag I bought in mine. Neither were my style, so I returned them both. Afterward, I checked social media. Of course, Sophie had already posted. She was dressed in a white princess dress, holding a giant bouquet, surrounded by gifts. Right next to her stood Alexander Wright, his body leaning slightly toward her, like they were already a couple. Disgusting. Sophie and I had known each other since secondary school. She came from an average family. Back then, while other girls were still in awkward phases, she was already fair-skinned, soft-spoken, and charming. Every guy was drawn to her. But where there's love, there's jealousy too. One time, some jealous girls cornered her after school. The boy they liked had a crush on her. Back then, I was often sick, so my parents had enrolled me in Taekwondo classes just to build strength. It turned out I had a natural talent for it, so I jumped in and scared those girls off easily. They screamed at me as they ran, "Elena Rossi, you're dead." I put my hands on my hips and shouted back, "If you've got guts, come at me." My brother Luca Marino from the high school division. Then I turned and helped Sophie up as she cried. That was the start of our so-called friendship. Later, she asked why my brother had a different last name. I remember sipping my yogurt, staring at the honor roll where Luca's name sat at the top. I'm not sure how to explain. He wasn't really my brother. His parents had died, and my family took him in when he was 10. She grinned and teased, "I won't ask about your rich kid secrets." Then she pointed at Luca's picture and said, "Mind if I go after your brother?" Back then, I didn't see the red flags. I even encouraged her, but now I realize that was the beginning of her obsession with taking what was mine. She borrowed my new clothes before I even wore them, took my books, made friends with my friends. And now, looking back, she even set her sights on Luca. When I told Luca about her interest, he barely looked up from his book. "Elena Rossi, where's your ID?" He asked. I blinked. Huh? Why? He took my ID, glanced at it, and scoffed. "You're too young to be falling in love." For the next 3 years, it's all just puppy love. Luca was 3 years older than me. I was in junior high. He was in his last year of high school. At first, I adored having such a handsome brother. It was fun to show off. But as I got older, I realized he wasn't like other boys. He was serious, mature, and always calm, like a still lake in late autumn. Even my dad used to say, "This kid's going places." On my best friend Sophie Dubaw's 22nd birthday, something happened that changed my life forever. A drunk man started harassing her, and as a black belt in Taekwondo, I instinctively stepped in to protect her. I didn't mean to kill him, but in the chaos, I accidentally did. In court, I thought she would have my back. After all, I was defending her. But she didn't testify for me. She said the drunk had already let go and that I acted out of anger, not defense. Her words sealed my fate. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison for manslaughter. When I finally got out, I thought the worst was over, but the real nightmare had just begun. Sophie had married my boyfriend, Alexander Wright. They even had a daughter over 2 years old. That meant she was already pregnant around the time I was arrested. They weren't just betraying me. They had been betraying me long before that night. And as if that wasn't enough, they had the nerve to try and marry me off to Sophie's older brother, a violent divorced man. It felt like they wanted to erase me completely. But then something unbelievable happened. One moment, I was in a daze from a car accident. The next, I woke up back in my room. I checked my phone. The date made my heart stop. I was back on the morning of Sophie's 22nd birthday, the very day everything began. I stared at myself in the mirror, stunned. Last time I had dressed up for her party, trying to be the perfect best friend. I had even bought her a fancy necklace and a designer bag, one in my name and one in Alexander's. I wanted them to get along. What a fool I had been. This time I wasn't going to play along. There were 2 messages on my phone. One was from Sophie with a sweet voice message. "Honey, this is the restaurant I book. Don't go to the wrong place, okay?" The other was from Alexander Wright. "Elena, are you ready?" I'm almost downstairs. I rolled my eyes. In my past life, I thought their interactions were just friendly. I even tried to help them get closer. I didn't realize I was handing them the chance to betray me. I took a deep breath, bit back my anger, and texted Sophie, "Honey, I twisted my ankle just now. I need to go to City General Hospital. I'm so sorry I can't make it to your birthday. I'll make it up to you later." Her reply came instantly, voice messages filled with fake concern. I didn't open them, couldn't stomach hearing her sickly sweet voice. Then I messaged Alexander, not feeling well. "Go without me," and blocked him. No hesitation. I returned the expensive gifts. They were never meant for me anyway. Later, I checked her social media. Sophie had already posted photos, wearing a white princess dress, holding a giant bouquet, surrounded by gifts, with Alexander right beside her. He was leaning slightly toward her, looking like her boyfriend, but mine disgusting. We'd been best friends since secondary school. She came from an ordinary family, but she knew how to dress up and charm people. She was delicate, soft-spoken, and always captured the boys' attention. But where there's admiration, there's jealousy. I still remember how I first became her protector back in school. Some jealous girls cornered her because a boy they liked had a crush on her. I used my Taekwondo skills to send them running. After that, she stuck to me like glue. That day, she asked about my brother, Luca Marino, and even joked, "Do you mind if I chase your brother?" I was so naive. I told him about it. He just snorted and said, "You check your ID. You're still in junior high. Dating now is considered puppy love." Luca was always calm like a rock. He lost his parents young and had lived with us since he was 10. I admired him, not just because he was smart and composed, but because he always had my back. After I was imprisoned, he was the only one who didn't give up on me. His eyes were red that day in court. I'll never forget that. But now I had a second chance, and this time I wouldn't let anyone use me or betray me. Later that night, around 1:30 a.m., I got a call from Alexander Wright. I knew what it was about before even picking up. "Elena, come to Central Police Station. Something happened to Sophie." Perfect. When I arrived, the station was in chaos, sirens blaring, people crying and yelling. But to me, it was music. It meant I had changed fate. Alexander looked terrible, bruised, disheveled, lips trembling. The first thing he asked me was, "Why didn't you go to Sophie's birthday today?" I raised an eyebrow. Would it have changed anything? In the past, I jumped out of the car to save Sophie from being harassed. Alexander Wright, my so-called boyfriend, just sat in the car, claiming he was calling the police. But the person who really called the cops was a passerby. He flared up at my words. "Aren't you a black belt? You've protected her before. If you had gone, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe it would have been you." I smiled coldly. "So, if I were the one being molested tonight, you'd be upset. But since it's her, I should have taken the hit instead." "Is that it?" He fell silent. I ignored him and went to find Sophie. She was curled up on a cot, hair disheveled, clothes torn, covered with a blanket. Her face was pale, eyes red from crying. The policewoman explained that she had been attacked by drunks outside the nightclub. Alexander hit one with a brick. Now the man is in City General Hospital, ICU, barely hanging on. Sophie looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "You," whispered, like always trying to reel me in with guilt. But I didn't rush to her side. I just stood there. She blinked, confused. "Why are you standing so far away?" My expression stayed neutral. "I just came to check in," I said calmly. "I can't really help with anything, and it's getting late. Once I know you're okay, I'm heading home." That was me putting it as gently as possible, but Sophie's face changed instantly. She looked stunned. "Elena, what do you mean? Aren't we friends?" "I'm already like this. How can you be so cold-hearted?" Her voice trembled. "I never thought you'd be this kind of person." I looked her straight in the eye and cut her off. "Funny, I never thought you'd be this kind of person either." She froze. "I treated you as a friend, but did you ever really treat me the same?" Sophie looked completely caught off guard. What? "What do you mean?" "Exactly what I said," I replied, turning away. I didn't want to get into a long, dramatic back and forth. I'd already said my piece. In my last life, this night ruined everything for me. I had accidentally pushed someone in a struggle, and that led to the police getting involved. My parents rushed over in a panic. My mother, elegant and dignified for most of her life, collapsed in tears when she heard I might go to prison. My father's hair turned white overnight. I was detained by the police. My parents waited outside crying. But Sophie, the girl I had stood by and helped so many times, stood quietly in a corner. She didn't even offer them a word of comfort. And Alexander Wright, he barely muttered a few fake-sounding words of concern before leaving with Sophie. Now I realized they probably went straight to Grand Royal Hotel that night instead of returning to university. Meanwhile, I became the scapegoat, the real victim, but not in this life. After being reborn, I stood outside Central Police Station, scrolling through a family group chat. My parents had shared photos of their dinner together at a nice restaurant, smiling happily. This time, I would hold on to my happiness. No one would take it from me again. As I walked away from the police station, I saw Sophie and Alexander's parents rushing in. We passed each other, and I felt their eyes on me. Maybe they wanted to say something, but the police ushered them forward. I didn't stop. I didn't care. The pain I endured in my last life had made sure they paid it back 1,000 times over. That night, word spread around Riverstone University like wildfire. Sophie had been dragged into an alley by a group of drunk guys. The next day in class, I overheard some girls whispering about something. I leaned in and asked, "What are you all looking at?" They exchanged awkward glances and hesitated to answer. "It's about Sophie, right?" I guessed. Their faces stiffened, and one girl who usually got along with me nervously came over. "Elena, we know you and Sophie were close, so we weren't sure if we should show you this. You might get upset. What is it?" She showed me her phone. It was a blurry video, secretly taken from upstairs. It showed Sophie being dragged into the alley behind the nightclub the night before. Her white princess dress was torn and tossed aside. The footage was unclear, but her screams and the crude laughter of those men said enough. I frowned. Turn it off. I wasn't okay with someone posting a video like that, especially not of someone being assaulted. It made me sick, but no matter how much pity I felt, I couldn't forget what she did to me in my last life. I could never forgive her. The girl quickly paused the video. "We don't know who posted it. It spread all over last night. Yesterday was her birthday, wasn't it? Weren't you there?" Everyone knew I had been close with Sophie. She was the art department beauty, chased by the rich kids, always switching boyfriends, and full of arrogance. She'd made plenty of enemies. "I wasn't there," I said. "I don't know what happened," I added. "And going forward, when it comes to Sophie, don't worry about me. I have nothing to do with her anymore." That statement alone was enough gossip fuel for them to last a week. Neither Alexander nor Sophie showed up to university that day. I sent a simple breakup text to Alexander and blocked them both on messaging apps. I knew how they were. They'd come crawling back eventually. After all, I'd been so naive and generous with them for years. But not anymore. After classes, I went straight home. In my last life, I spent 3 years in prison. My parents cry every single day. Our family business nearly collapsed. Only Luca supported us silently, holding everything together. This time, I'd messaged ahead to say I'd be coming home for dinner. But as I stood outside the door, I couldn't stop the nerves. I took a deep breath, gathered myself, and rang the bell. Our home was a spacious riverside apartment. When the door opened, the familiar scent of dinner and warmth hit me. The housekeeper was setting the table. My dad sat in the living room watching the news. My mom opened the door and her face lit up. "Elena, you're back." I thought I had mentally prepared myself, but the moment I saw her kind face and heard her gentle voice, all the emotions rushed back. Tears fell down my cheeks. She panicked. "What's wrong? Did something happen at university? Did someone bully you?" To her, I had only been gone for 2 days, but to me, it had been 3 long, bitter years. I was finally home. At dinner, my parents kept piling food into my bowl. Midway through, they casually mentioned, "By the way, Luca will be back soon." I froze mid-bite. After university, Luca had gone abroad for studies and started a business with international partners. From what I heard, it had been doing well. In my previous life, he had rushed back around this time only to barely catch my sentencing. This time, without that disaster, he was returning as planned. Our relationship had always been complicated. I got together with Alexander in my sophomore year, but it created distance between us. Still, I knew no matter what happened, he was the one who carried the family when I couldn't, and now this life was different. I was different. I would protect the ones who truly cared about me. And this time I would make sure the people who hurt me paid for every single tear they made my family shed. One time while I was out shopping with him, we unexpectedly ran into Luca. He immediately pulled me aside with a serious expression and said, "You're not allowed to fall in love." At the time, I thought he was just being a protective older brother trying to lecture me, and honestly, it annoyed me. I remember thinking you used to say love before 18 was just puppy love, but I'm almost 20 now. Why are you still meddling? I told him, "You're not even my real brother." After that fight, I avoided him. He was 3 years older and had received an offer from a university overseas. He was always busy leaving early, returning late. Even when we bumped into each other, I'd look away. I was angry he didn't want me with Alexander. Who'd have thought the next time we met, I'd be facing jail? In my past life, at my lowest, he ran around trying to save me. The always neat guy became exhausted and unkempt. His bright eyes bloodshot. He wasn't my blood brother, but treated me better than any real one. That night after dinner, I stared at our old chat history ended 2 years ago before he left. I sat thinking how to apologize when I accidentally hit voice call. My hand shook. The phone fell. Panicked, I picked it up. He'd answered. A calm but cold voice. "Hello?" I froze. "Elena Rossi?" He called. When I spoke, my voice cracked. "I'm here." He must have heard tears because his tone softened. "What's wrong?" I stared at a childhood photo on my desk, me smiling at the camera, the boy beside me looking at me. My heart swelled. Across the ocean and time zones, I spoke from my soul. "Luca, I miss you." Embarrassment hit. I threw the phone down. Our families were close. When my parents' business failed, others abandoned us, but his parents helped. Later, when his parents died in a crash after their own business collapsed, my parents brought him back from debt collectors. When he first came to us, he wouldn't speak or eat. My parents were helpless, but a little girl bugged him until he spoke. His first words to me, "Can you be quiet?" Growing up, I called him brother when happy, used his full name when mad. In my teens, while girls giggled over boys, I secretly blushed for him. When I realized it, I mentally slapped myself. "Elena Rossi, what's wrong with you? He lives with us out of necessity. How can you think this?" Later, learning biology, I forgave myself a little. I let those feelings fade. Sometimes I'd stare and blurt, "Brother, you're handsome." If not for Alexander, maybe our bond would have stayed untouched. The next days, Sophie and Alexander were absent, but rumors spread. Sophie had always been showy now her victims gossiped. Entering class, I felt stares. A chatty boy turned. "You okay?" "Heard you and Sophie fell out." I nodded. "Over what?" I hesitated, unable to explain my past life pain. A girl beside me cut in. "Isn't it obvious?" She finally saw Sophie's true colors. The floodgates opened. Everyone talked. I dormed with Elena. Sophie always borrowed her clothes, bags for dates, never returned them. Or if she did, they smelled like food, had stains. Elena's so kind, always buying double skincare sets. Sophie just takes. Never saw her buy Elena anything. That fake sweet smile, who knows what she's really like. Notice she always takes others' things? As they spoke, small moments I'd brushed off resurfaced. I'd seen Sophie as a weak girl needing help. I looked out for her. Her family was average. She was vain, so when I bought nice things, I got her copies. I always paid shopping. Now I saw our unequal friendship. I gave. She took. Always. Small favors make gratitude. Large ones breed resentment. Sophie began resenting me, taking not just kindness, but stealing people around me. I recalled when she said she wanted to chase Luca but failed. Then she claimed she just wanted a brother like him, so I invited her home weekends. Luca would be studying, but Sophie kept calling him brother. He'd just finished university exams then. Once when she said it, he looked up coldly. I remember I only have one sister. He grabbed his bag and left. Back then I was mad at him. Now I see Luca always saw through schemers, even young. 5 days later, I ran into Alexander near dorms. Baseball cap, mask trying to hide. Didn't recognize him till he grabbed my arm. I flinched. It's me, he hushed. I smiled dryly. Yeah, why? I screamed. Someone glanced. Alexander ducked his head. Can we talk privately? After all I'd endured? No way. No need, I said, pulling away. I'd already texted breakup, figured he'd get it, but he had audacity to come. As I left, he grabbed my wrist. Elena, you can't just end it. What I did with Sophie was wrong, but don't blame just me. We were fighting. She kept talking to me, that it happened. Now I'm in trouble. You'll abandon me? Classic cheater blaming, not owning it. I laughed angrily. Why didn't I see your shamelessness before, Alexander? I tried freeing my arm, he tightened. Didn't care who saw. Just as I prepped a taekwondo move, a tall figure stepped between us. Gently pulled me behind him, grabbed Alexander's wrist. A light squeeze, Alexander yelped, release me. The protector glared coldly. Luca, I warned you 2 years ago. Stay away from her. His present silence whispers. Alexander bolted. Luca turned to me. Chilly weather, he wore a long black coat. Breathtaking. Still admiring him when he flicked my forehead. Falling in love fun, isn't it? I glared. Petty. He smirked. Taking you home for dinner. His high school friend drove. Knew them from gatherings, felt familiar. Friend grinned. Wow, Elena, you're so pretty. No wonder someone flew straight off a plane to get you. If I had a sister like you, I'd fly back too. Luca threw a backseat pillow at him. After my past life pain, just being with him again brought joy. We sat side by side. Didn't Mom/Dad say you'd return later? Why now? Before Luca answered, friend chuckled. Luca shifted awkwardly. Didn't you say you wanted me back early? When? I'd only said I missed him. I froze. Over 2 years. This Luca was familiar, yet different, more mature. Outside, traffic rushed. Inside, quiet. Watching his profile, my heart skipped. I looked away, grabbed phone to hide flustered face. Googled. After puberty, do you still randomly crush on people? Dinner family reunited. Emotional. I blinked tears so Luca wouldn't misunderstand. Later he knocked. Still upset over that jerk? He asked, entering. I sat by window. He at desk. Our eyes met heart-thudded. I looked away. No. He pressed. Then why avoid eye contact? Guilty? Mad tone? What's so great about him? Good, it's over. Don't date again. Men are trash. I mumbled, you're a man. Pause, I'm different. Eventually, Alexander tried contacting me via mutual friend. Had enough. Posted publicly, I'd broken up with Alexander, right? Anyone persuading me otherwise gets blocked. Silence followed. Sophie was technically a victim, but gossip twists things. Rumors spread she'd been raped. Someone posted her photo waiting outside City General Hospital of GY and looked real. Rumors exploded. Campus queen became a pariah. Alexander, the guy he bricked, was comatose. His parents claimed self-defense, hired lawyer. Then a leaked video showed Alexander hitting the unconscious man again. Self-defense? No. He paid a huge settlement, got 3 years prison. My past life pain he paid. A month later, Sophie returned to Riverstone University. Near graduation, prestigious school, she couldn't drop out, but campus buzzed. One day, I saw her alone in cafeteria. People whispered. She looked desperate to vanish. Reminded me of school days when rumors said she dated a thug. Group projects, no one partnered with her. Back then, I crushed rumors, grabbed her hand, stood by her. Now, I watch karma unfold. When some students got cruel, Sophie snapped. Stood, slammed tray down, screamed tearfully. I wasn't raped. They didn't touch me, a guy jeered. Then why at obstetrics and gynecology? Hemorrhoid removal. Laughter erupted. Sophie shrieked. The baby is Alexander's, not the drunk's. I wasn't raped. Stunned silence, gasps, whispers. Those knowing my Alexander past turned to me pity, awkward sympathy. The girl across me quietly put her drumstick in my bowl. Eat. You've suffered enough. Later, Sophie came to my building, pitiful red eyes pale. I returned carrying fruit. She rushed to help. I dodged. Say what you came for. No pretense. Elena, I know Alexander and I. Unforgivable, but please just once help me. I swear I'll never take your things again. My parents know I'm pregnant furious. Won't let me home. Refuse abortion payment. Nowhere to go. Voice cracked. The more she spoke, the colder I felt. Let me clarify, I said calmly. You got pregnant by my ex-boyfriend and want me, ex-best friend, to pay for your abortion? She froze, then tearful. Elena, I'm begging. No, I said. One more thing, ... I handed her folded paper. A list of everything you borrowed. Return within a week, or I sue. I didn't mention rebirth, but smiled softly. Know what? I dreamed I went to your party. I hurt the drunk. You refused to testify. I got 3 years prison. You married Alexander, had his child. Her expression shifted, forced calm. How could I not testify? We've been friends years. I cut her off. You know who you are. Stop pretending. Turned. 1 week. As I left, my fruit bag got snatched. Thought it was Sophie whirled, ready to fight, but Luca. He lifted me over his shoulder effortlessly, smirking, fruit in hand. Finally showing backbone, he teased. Didn't you swear you and Sophie were forever besties? He'd heard everything. That dream changed me, I said. What else? I dreamed Dad shattered when I went to prison. Dreamed you crying so hard. He stopped. Under streetlight, our eyes met. So, when you said you miss me ... because of the dream? I nodded. Yes, that's all. Breeze, his warm days, something shifted. He'd flown back early just for I miss you. His friends teased. I'd avoided his eyes, but I wasn't that timid girl anymore. Life, death changed me. Luca, I whispered, think Dad will break my legs if I say I want to chase you? He stiffened, stern. Elena Rossi, who told you to say that? Startled. Why so serious? I just ... realized, he cut me off, that you like me a little. But I saw you as my sister, never let myself feel that. If this is a whim, I won't go there. We're not just lovers, we're family. If we break up, we lose everything. Stunned silence. You can't just like me a little, he said. You have to like me a lot. Tapped my forehead. Think. If sure, I'll tell Dad. That night after parents slept, I tiptoed to Luca's room. He typed at his desk. I sat on his bed. I have a question, without turning. What? Senior year, remember that girl who gave me a love letter for you? Campus beauty, long curls, looked like a painting. What happened? Back then, I had inappropriate thoughts. Everyone saw me as his sister, admirers used me. That girl stood out gorgeous, made Sophie look average. Luca paused, turned slightly. Who? Art student? Tall, curly hair painting come to life, I grinned. He frowned. No idea who you mean. Secret joy, but I mock threatened. If lying, you're dead. Then quietly, when did you start liking me? He thought, seriously? Bit by bit, then realized I liked you a lot. Heart fluttered, I lingered. Luca warned, go back now. When I saw you as my sister crashing here was fine. Now different. Boundaries. At the door, I muttered, hypocrite, sticking out my tongue. Deadline came. Sophie hadn't returned items. No surprise vein, probably sold them. She came pitiful again, I held firm. Hired lawyer, sued. 2 weeks later she paid. Puzzled until classmates gossiped, Sophie found a sugar daddy older, beer belly, receding hairline, married. Didn't care she was pregnant. Paid for abortion, she became a mistress. Senior year flew. Internship started. I moved out. Luca's company grew fast. He rented a villa. Didn't come home much, but he came to move me. We drove down a quiet road, golden ginkgo leaves carpeting the ground. Passenger seat, I took his hand. Luca, soft but firm, I've decided I really, really like you. Want to be with you long term. Stunned, then warm smile lit his face. Okay, parents were the hurdle, but I trusted Luca to handle it. Past life, I'd rushed past the incredible person beside me. This life, I'll never let go.